OwlStamp company started in 1912 as a rubber stamp manufacturer. Over the years, it's gone through different ownership, different sort of product mixes. We still make rubber stamps today. That's been continuous throughout the whole history of the company. Back in the day, 50, 60 years ago, they did some printing here and there, some offset and letterpress type things. I took over the company in 2002. At that time, the company was kind of on its last legs. They really only had a couple of people working at the time. So when I took over the company, I saw a lot of potential in the graphics industry to expand and grow and diversify. I think that's one of the earliest things we did was saw the convergence of all these different graphics type product industries, from print, sign, promotional, engraving, awards. All these things have converged, and a lot of companies that have diversified like we have been able to survive and grow through that period. And we made a conscious effort in 2004 to really head in that direction in a big way. In 2006, we brought in our first large format printer, which was a small one, but it was large format at the time, and started getting more into signs. In 2008, we brought our first digital printing machine. And from there, over the past 10 to 12 years, we've acquired a few other smaller companies, and by diversifying our product line. So now we're a full service commercial printer, full service sign shop with large format, flatbed, CNC routing, and that capability. We have multiple laser machines and rotary engravers on that side of the world. So that has allowed us to grow a lot. 2008 or so, when we really start selling some things on the web, we used some of our vendor supplied web solutions, which was okay at the beginning. Somewhere around, I want to say 2012 or 13, we diversified into another provider, which added a little bit more capability. Although it was better than what we had, it was very limited in our ability to develop it and deploy it and make it work for our situation. So we spent a couple of years looking at other solutions to really encompass the full breadth of everything that we're doing, in this diverse situation. So that's why we went to the OnPrintShop. Took a little while to get there because we were doing a lot of research and everything, but we ended up settling on that. And that's been a big tool in our recent growth. On the printing side, it's been interesting. There's so much volatility right now as to what direction things are going in. There's some, a little bit of blowback on the remote working situation right now. A lot of companies are starting to bring people back. Same thing with trade shows and events and things like that, because we do a lot of that type of printing, marketing pieces and other stuff. So some of that's coming back on its own. It's a little unclear as to how this is all going to go forward. I think, at least in our experience, there's just so many challenges that we're facing. We're a direct mail house too. So we do, direct mailings for our customers, and, postal rates in the US are going up, so every time that happens, there's a little bit of business that drops off the bottom because it reaches a price point that's, even though it's very effective, and there is some return of people realizing that tangible piece as part of a comprehensive marketing strategy is a valuable part of that. And you can't just email, you can't just direct mail, you can't just social media. You kind of have to do a combination of those things. So some of that's coming back, but a lot of our business we see is, serving those industries that have thrived through COVID, whether that's biotech, government, military, whatever it is. So some of those areas have remained, or added a little bit to our workload, but it's very unclear how this is all going to play out going forward. So all we can do is take care of our customers that we have, and customers come along, do our best to service their needs, which thankfully with our diversity, we could usually do pretty well. OnPrintShop has been great for us for a multitude of reasons. So I kind of divide it up into two sort of separate channels, if you will. So there's our regular, just main website, customer facing, end user, web search, or, driven to the site by, just our name or having worked with us before, whatever it is. So, we've been able to have much more control over how we present things and, how we maximize the exposure of the site, which much better than our previous solution. So we tend to get orders from further away than we used to. So the ability to show up and organically in search results in different places has been really good. So that feeds us with orders that we don't really have to work very hard for. They just come. So the biggest thing that's really helped us, and we're really starting to expand on that quite a bit, is the B2B private little sites that we're doing for customers. Our ability to go and set those sites up, to add the products and set up the solutions for the customer in a relatively streamlined, easy way is big. And that's one of the biggest areas I see for us going forward, is using the B2B sites to capture customer loyalty, also to streamline our sales process. When we talk about diversity, there's a good side of that and there's a bad side of that. So the good side of that is we can serve a lot of customers and we can provide a lot of solutions. The bad side of that is it raises the level of complexity for the operation. So when you're in like 4 or 5 different industries, that if they were self-standing, it's a little bit more efficient and easier to incorporate those things. But doing stamps is different than doing printing, which is different than doing signs, which is different than doing, even though they're all related, different doing engraving and awards and things like that. So any little bit of any tool that we can use to increase some efficiency, even though we can't, have one master gigantic solution that integrates everything across all our business areas, by able, like with the B2B stores and utilizing web sales, makes the sales process faster and easier, as well as raising loyalty, is probably the biggest benefit we get out of it. I would say overall, it's been a good experience. Things have worked out well. It's been really challenging, obviously, with COVID and staffing and all the other things that have gone on, as we've tried to navigate that. And obviously, you folks have to navigate that as well there. So we generally have been able to get through the people that we need to get through when there is a problem, when we need a solution or question answered on, or figuring out how to do a particular function that will allow us to develop the site in the way we want, has been good. Usually we're getting the answer we need, or we're putting in a feature request that seems to come around usually not too far after. Honestly, when we make feature requests, they're great for everybody. They're not just for us. So it's really been a good experience. We've been, like I said at the beginning, been able to develop the web solution as a key platform for our growth and development without it being a huge burden to administrate or operate. For us, our biggest challenge is integrating as much as we can these various technologies, various platforms, various processes, various workflows, and optimizing as much as we can efficiency gains across those things. So as we look to our system that we use right now for managing the operation, that system has been in place for 8 years. Right. And we're in the next year sort of reviewing that. There's some new solutions, even by the company that we currently use for that are coming online. So our biggest thing over the next 12 to 18 months is to look at the next step in that, so that we can find ways to better integrate, some web connectivity as well as internal operations with some of the pieces of technology that come from our equipment vendors, whether that's integrating with some machine workflows, RIP workflows, or things of that nature. So again, a bit challenging because we're the diverse types of equipment and things that we're operating. You can have a customer that's ordering some rubber stamps, some engraved nameplates, a couple of signs, retractable banner, and those are all going to different areas in the operation. So kind of combining and integrating all that, that's kind of where we look going forward as far as technology goes.